गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Now I think we went up till 17, huh? 72, 1575, 1570. Ah, 1570. Ah, so we continue from here, from 1571. We are in 73rd verse of the 18th chapter of Gyaneshwari. आपणची होऊनी ब्रह्म सारी जे कृत्या कृत्यांचे काम मग की जे का निस्सीम सेवा जयाची गंगा सिंधू सेवू गेली पावतांची समुद्र झाली तेवी भक्ता सेल दिधली निजपदाची. तो तू माझा जी निरुपचारू श्रीकृष्णा सेव्य सद्गुरू मा ब्रह्मतेचा उपकारू हाची मानी ते मज तुम्हा आड होते भेदाचे कवाड ते फोडोनी केले गोड सेवा सुख तरी आता तुझी आज्ञा सकळ देवाधिदेव राज्ञा करी न देई अनुज्ञा भलतीये विषयी. So he says here, remember we did the 73rd verses. Arjuna uvacha nashto moha smritirlabdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. So this is the verse we are seeing, and Arjun is saying, when asked by the Lord, has your delusion and crisis become over or not? Are you still dwelling in that crisis? So he says, Nashto moha smriti labdva. He says, all my delusions and illusions have gone away and by your grace, and I remember. Smritir labdva. Labdha means now I gained the memory back as to what is my duty at this moment. Because they are in the middle of the army, remember. And therefore, oh Achyuta, Krishna, I stand here with no doubts and shall do what you say, Karishye Vachanam Tava. So in that, this is the thought that we have been looking at, and now in the 70th OV, Gyaneshwar Maharaj is telling, if after, so we just little bit will start before. He says, I have realized my essential nature through you and there remains nothing for me to do except your bidding. You are my preceptor, my God, the sight of whom obliterates the visible universe, who although dual removes all duality, who although single pervades everything, whose very contact snaps all who when met with, brings about one's meeting with one's own self, who keeps company in solitude and leads one beyond the knowledge of non-duality. I think this is the few verses we were doing. And here he says, who although you are my preceptor, my God, you are my teacher and my God. Why he is saying that? Because in the second chapter, Arjuna said, Karpanya doshopahata swabha prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta nishrayasyat nishchitam tumi nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple, Shishya, and Prapannam. I am surrendered at your feet. And therefore, here he is saying that you are my preceptor. Preceptor means Guru. Please put your audio off. Preceptor means you are my Guru, and also you are my God. This is the intellect says that you are my Guru. Here, see, now I just told her you can never say that you are my Guru. But here he's saying it in recognition, because Lord asked him a question. Because so much Bhagavad Gita has gone through, so they are at that same rapport. स्वामी जी, हमने आपको गुरु बना लिया, अब क्या करोगे? मेरी लुंगी खींचोगे? हाँ, क्या करोगे भैया? प्रश्न करोगे? हम तो नहीं जवाब देंगे, कर लो जो कर रहा है. तो तुम कौन होते हो हमको गुरु बनाने वाले? Guru principle is self-established. He is not because of the disciple. He is not because of the objectivity. He is not because of someone saying, you are my Guru. If someone says, oh, you are a woman, you will believe when someone tells you, or you know it, that you are a woman. You already know you are a woman. You don't need qualification. Is that the word? Validation. You don't need validation from outside. You don't need validation from outside. Similarly, Guru doesn't need validation from any student. Whether there is a student or no student, Guru remains Guru. Whether there is day or night, whether you can see the sun or you cannot see the sun, sun remains sun. It's your problem, it's your vision problem. Understand this. So this is very important point. And therefore, here he says that you are my Guru. I have recognized that you are my teacher and you are my God. So intellect says is recognizing that you are my teacher. The mind, which is the emotional side, it is recognizing that this is where the mind comes to fulfillment. The disciple comes to fulfillment at the feet of the teacher. He will never find fulfillment at God. There will be always question to God, and God will not come and answer. And the mind, which is a bit more emotional, feeling type, imaginary type, it can never think, in the sense it cannot become convinced, it cannot logicalize. It wants to outsource. Hey Bhagwan, hey Prabhu, bachao. Intellect is not like that. Intellect is not into bachao. Intellect says, no, I'll do what is required to be. If you tell me that I have to do pranayam, I'll do pranayam. If you tell me I have to think in this manner, as in the 18th chapter, Arjuna is changing his thinking. And therefore he has come to this conclusion. Karishye vachanam tava. So whatever the Lord says or whatever the Guru says, the student is available, the devotee within us is available to be molded by the master or the divine principle. Be like that. Otherwise, we are continuously moving with this big ego that I'm going to do this, I'm going to achieve that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to understand the scriptures. Nobody can stop me. I've got a character at home. So for the last 20 years, he's saying, oh, I have got this project. He writes something. I read what he has written. He also doesn't understand what he has written. He also doesn't understand. And he got 5-6 books. Maybe I wish, I don't want anything not good to happen to him. I wish him good luck. But it is his, because you have a mind, because it keeps throwing out thoughts, and because you found that you can write those thoughts, doesn't mean that what you have written is scripture. You understand? It can be total jumble mumble. वो दूर हो गया, वो अभी हम 18वें अध्याय में, वो दूसरे अध्याय में था. So He does not understand that. Oh, I got this person, now he's going to sponsor for my project and I will become a billionaire. I have been hearing that for 20 years. So today I never have before I have said to him, just out of the blue, I'm eating food, man, let me eat in peace. Suddenly came and said this. I said, he says, that is a fact, and he's loudly as if trying to convince himself. That is a fact. I said, fact is when you are experiencing it. Right now it is only an imagination. I kept eating. See the difference? So, but he does not understand the difference between fact and imagination. A projection. Projection is also an imagination. No, but I'm going to do it. I said, if you're going to do it, that's how you are imagining. But it hasn't happened yet. Till it doesn't happen, it is not a fact. Went into the room. Sometimes you have to bring them down to ground reality. No, not just living in the clouds, But Arjuna, he was living in a negative cloud. This fellow is living in a positive cloud. You understand? We all go through that. It's not only Arjuna and this fellow are not the two examples. We are all examples in that. Self-projected universe, and in that universe, we have taken the position of the ahankar, that I am going to manipulate this universe, I am going to make it happen. What are you going to happen? You can't even sneeze by willing to sneeze. Nowadays hay fever is going on. It doesn't come out. You try as much as you want, it will come out only when it wants to come out. Correct or no? So understand that everything is happening by his will. He has recognized that now. We have recognized it at a surface level. He has recognized it at the intrinsic level. Because once you recognize it, your disposition in life will be totally different. It will be like how Arjuna acted year after, when the war began. And before war, how did he behave? Krishna, take my chariot in the middle of the two armies. Ordering Lord. Ordering. Take me. I want to see who has come to fight me. You stupid idiot. You don't know who has come? For last 7 months you have been preparing for war and you don't know who has come for war. And you are ordering that person whom you know is capable all by himself to destroy everyone. To that fellow, you, out of your familiarity, you are ordering just because he has chosen to be your charioteer. This is ego. And when the ego comes up like this, it goes into depression also equally fast. And all Krishna did was take the chariot in front of his nears and dears. He took it in front of his grandfather. He says, see, there is your grandfather. See, there is your Guru, Dronacharya. See, these are your brothers. And immediately the psychological collapse took place. Because ego trip was going on. Now, here, when he says, I know that you are my teacher, I know that you are my God, it is the same mouth was speaking that, the same mouth is speaking here. But there is a pole's difference. This is out of surrender and purity, that was out of arrogance. Wherever there is arrogance, lesson will come. Lesson will come. Whether you like it or not, life will bring you situations where your arrogance is crushed. It may happen if you are in tune with nature, it will happen straight away. If you are not in tune with nature, it will take some more time. For some people, it takes lifetimes. You are my preceptor, you are my God, the sight of whom obliterates the visible universe. When you look at the sun with love, not just a matter of fact, sun hai, theek hai. 1 second we look and next second we are looking at all the objects. But if you keep looking at the sun with single pointedness, with this type of devotion and commitment, what will happen when you are single pointed focus on the sun? You will forget the whole universe. You are only wanting to be one with the sun, the Lord Sun. See? So either you become one. So here Arjuna is feeling the at-one-ment with the Lord who is standing smiling in front of him. And the communication is so intense that the universe of names and forms in which they are exist finding themselves, it is not hijacking the mind, it is not interfering with the mind. His mind is not available to the world, meaning pratyahar is going on. Then where is dharana, dhyan, samadhi? It is on Lord Krishna. You understand? This is what is going on. And something similar is going on here also. I am talking to you, you are listening to me. We are both, if we are very, very intensely interested with a cool disposition, not with, I want to know, what did he say? What did he say? That stress, that tension, it will destroy you. It has to be chill. You have to be chill. In that chill, you have to focus and concentrate. Then things happen. So he says that the sight of whom obliterates the visible universe, who although dual removes all duality. So even though I am looking at the sun, and when, if you don't know if you do tratak and all, or when you are in the waking and you are thinking of sleep and you go to sleep, in sleep is there any duality? In deep sleep, is there any duality?
No.
No. In the world, there is duality. Dvait is in the world. So when you are so in tune with sleep and you merge into sleep or samadhi, then the duality of the world is not available to you. Exactly the same way, Krishna and Arjuna are standing. Arjuna is saying, I am in so at one ment with you that, and me and you are separate. Yet the feeling of oneness is continuously there. This is the transformation. Because inside, outside is that one reality alone. See? Who although dual removes all duality, it was only by the teachings of Sri Krishna, the Lord Bhagwan Krishna, over the 18 chapters, that the delusion of Arjuna has been removed. It is through the words of the teacher. He systematically, gently kept prodding him to higher and higher thinking and deeper thinking, subtler and subtler thinking, so that there is nothing more to understand thereafter. And that's what has happened to Arjuna. But Arjuna's commitment was teacher and God. So he is expressing it the same way. See, and that is our situation also. We can't give up the world straight away. So how do we discover the world to be none other than the divine itself? Divine, Ishvara, God, whatever you want to say. You can recognize the self only inside. But when you look out, you have to know that this self or this Ishvara who is expressing through this body alone is expressing through everything and everyone. Inert and living. See, and that is what Arjuna has come to know. And in that vision, the duality is gone. Thereafter he says, removes all duality, who although single pervades everything. So even though that Krishna, see, this is the language. Self is one. The self in you is one or two? One. In you? One. In this? One. So if everyone is having only one self, how can there be many selves? Is there many spaces or only one space? But we have given address of this is 64, next is 66, next is 68, this side is 62, 60, 58. So these were different houses. Those houses are occupying some space. So we have divided the space and our attention is on the walls of the house, and therefore we are saying, I am staying in the space called 64 Strickland Drive. Another person will say, I am staying in the space called, my house is called, or space is called 66 Strickland Drive. But essentially space is one without a second. Can we recognize that? Can we appreciate that? If we can appreciate it with space, even more so, who is illuminating the space? In whose presence the space is appearing? It is in the space, in the consciousness. So this Arjuna has recognized that even though the divinity, that consciousness, that infinite consciousness, that Brahman, that Paramatma, that divinity is one, yet it is pervading everything. Just as space is one, but it is pervading not only the air, fire, water, earth, but also everything that this space is allowing to manifest in this creation. Without space, can you have creation? Without space, can you have creation? Not possible. So the whole creation, the entire universe is existing in space, isn't it? In the dream, the entire dream world, as far as you can see in the dream, there also there is a universe, there also sun, moon is there, there also planets are there. Where is it all existing? In the mind. So mind is pervading everything inert and sentient in the dream. So is true in the waking. And this Arjun has recognized. Once you recognize this point, then there is nothing to do, nowhere to go, as our Swamiji says. Then you are just a mere instrument in the hands of the divine. Who pervades everything, whose very contact snaps all bonds. The mere touch, the mere presence of fire removes all the cold. The mere presence of the sun removes all the darkness. Mere contact with sleep, the only one contact. The moment you last thought in your mind, and then you get sucked into the sleep. That very moment, it snaps away all contact with the world, isn't it? Only to wake up again next morning. But when you make contact with the divinity, and here Arjuna's divinity is not only Krishna, here he's saying these words with the recognition that Krishna alone is expressing in and through him. Krishna alone is the Brahman, Krishna alone is the Atma, Krishna alone is that one who is pervading the entire universe, and in that universe Arjuna is also included. You see? Only recognize, nothing, no sadhana required. What sadhana Arjuna has done in the entire Bhagavad Gita? Did he do any meditation? Did he do any karma yoga? He was just sitting and listening and observing his thoughts, and went through each chapter. He did not do pranayam, he did not do All he did was remain focused on Krishna. Intent with faith and surrender that this fellow knows something, that's why he's smiling at my misery. And he knows his greatness. But we forget. We forget that greatness of other people. We take it to be them to be familiar. And in that familiarity, then we have to pay the price, which Arjuna is paying. 700 verses he has to listen. See? So here he says, whose very contact snaps all bonds. What are the bonds? All bonds are imaginary. What is the bond? What is the main bond? The main bonding is identification with the body. Next bond is identification with relations, people and persons, space-time objectivity. And you can keep imagining. If this main bond breaks up, rather than small ones, when he is intensely in tune with Krishna, he forgets he is the body. That is the main bond. That is the main bond. Who when long for destroys all longings. When you desire for that divine, all other desires get destroyed. Meaning, what does it mean they get destroyed? Either they get destroyed, means they do not erupt anymore, or they all get fulfilled in one go. The wave was thinking that other waves are coming after it. The wave was thinking that all other waves and tides are purposely pushing me to the shore. They don't like me. They are nasty. And I am helpless. I am getting pushed towards the shore and I'll die my death. As if it was not going to die its death, even on water. It was going to die. But sometimes fear makes us do wonderful things. Or some guru must have come there when he was thinking, when that wave was thinking, my child, just look inside and find out your source before you die. Ping, went in. At that very moment, the desire to run away from all nasty waves, the desire not to crash against the shore, these are also desires. Desires for like or desire for dislike, desire for everything is a desire. But once that wave recognized that it is water, now there is no duality left. If there is no duality left, there is no desire to run towards or run away from anyone, because it is water is complete. See, and this is what Arjuna is recognizing. This is what we have to recognize, that we are at any given moment complete. So if you feel incomplete, it is by choice. So then if you have a choice to feel incomplete, what do? You choose to feel with faith that you are complete. How? Read Bhagavad Gita. Take the name of the Lord. Make your mind single pointed. Understand what Bhagavad Gita is saying again and again, again and again. Who when longed for destroys all longings, who when met with brings about one's meeting with one's own self. When you meet the Lord, you are meeting your own essential nature. When the wave is seeking the water, it is meeting its own essential nature. So when you desire to know the Lord, you will come to yourself. Because the feeling of separation is only in your mind. The feeling that I am a wave and this is the ocean is only in the mind of the wave. Is there any difference between the wave and the ocean? Quality wise they are the same. Water wise they are the same. Nature wise they are the same. Brings about one's meeting with one's own self, who keeps company in solitude and leads one beyond the knowledge of non-duality, who keeps company in solitude. So he enjoys being with himself. That solitude is not because I have stopped thinking, so I am in solitude. Not that solitude. This solitude is which is undisturbed by presence or absence of thoughts. You have come to abide in that conscious space which is beyond the day and night. Which beyond day and night, beyond the presence and absence. Just like the sun is existing beyond the day and night. Similarly, this divinity, this Lord, this divine, this self is that which is existing beyond all presence and absence. Leads one beyond the knowledge of non-duality. So, as long as we are thinking of the non-dual principle, Arjuna, who is thinking of non-dual principle, he is in 18th chapter, delusion is gone, he is thinking that there is only one without a second and that is Krishna. And when he is saying that, he is coming to a point of utter silence, conscious silence, Dakshinamurti silence. But that does not mean you have to remain silent like a stupid fellow. I don't want to speak. If I speak, I'll get involved in the world. No, that will be a joke of a silence. True silence is that which is not disturbed by speaking or not speaking, which is not disturbed whether eyes are seeing or not seeing. It is that silence which is not disturbed by appearance and disappearance of thoughts. So what is appearance and disappearance? Duality. What is presence and absence? Duality. See? So, what is duality? Opposite of non-duality. What is Sat? Opposite of Asat. Right? So we have given up Asat, Achit and Dukkham. We are Satchidanand Swarup. I am existence, consciousness, bliss. The non-dual principle, if it is still a thought and I am convincing myself, then I have not known the truth. But here Arjuna is saying that who keeps company in solitude and leads one beyond the knowledge of knowledge is in the mind by way of thoughts. Knowledge is objective if it is by way of thoughts. Here, the presence of the teacher, presence of the master or the divine is making the mind go beyond the thought of non-duality to be the non-duality, dual principle. You see? So this is the maja. All this is Arjuna's realization. Similar language we are seeing in Amrit Anubhav also. Now we come into the 71st verse. If after becoming Brahman and relinquishing all actions, good or bad, I wish to serve you faithfully, I wish to serve you. Now that I have recognized that you are everything, I don't want to do anything but do your seva. See, knowledge must lead to surrender, devotion. Devotion must lead to love for the Lord, must lead to knowledge, clear knowledge that you are the self. So I am the self knowledge must lead to logic, must lead to understanding, must lead to contemplation, meditation, must lead to surrender to the Lord. Surrender to the Lord must lead to realization of the self. Once you have recognized that inside, outside, everything is that one, that should lead to, because body is still not gone. Your recognition has come that inside also, what is inside is the same outside. Then after that, what will you do? Then comes bliss. Then comes bliss. And that bliss expresses as service to humanity, service to the Lord, not humanity, to the Lord. And how do you service to the Lord? Either you do it inside or you do it outside. But there is no doer there. It is happening. Now this instrument has become empty and he is functioning through it. So when he is functioning through it and there is no egocentric desire or egocentric action, that is service. Sir, but majority, you go to Puttaparthi and all, there, seva means imposition of your will on others. Correct. Seva kar rahe hum. That is not seva. That is not service, where you impose your will on others. You may be a volunteer, but I am Sai Baba's volunteer, I am this organization's volunteer. So I am wearing this badge at the gate. Now I got a new control which I didn't have before. Hey, you can't go in. It's not seva. Seva, a sevak, he cannot speak that type of language. He has to be humble. He has to be without any ahankar.
Yes.
See? So that this will only come about when this recognition comes that inside and outside is nothing but the Lord alone or the divine alone. Then true service begins. Service, on one hand, we have said before, when you do seva, it should lead to purification. But that is where ego is functioning. Second chapter, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That is leading to, you are doing karma because you don't know how not to do karma. You are clicked into the ego and you don't know any other way. We are telling you that you are the atma. No, I don't understand what is atma. Start from the beginning. So what is the beginning? The first step, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Because what makes us act? Our identification with activity, desires, and we make memories of them. Those memories again appear as desires and again make us act. Action takes place where? Manasa, vacha, kaya. Action, activity takes place at the body level, speech level and thought level. So all the time we are only doing that. Sometimes people do the activity of chanting the name of the Lord for many years. Then why has the Lord not given them darshan? Or why have they not merged into Him? Because it was still an egocentric activity. They didn't do it with bhav of merging into the Lord while chanting the name. They did it as if they are doing a favor to the Lord. Ram. They are doing it mechanically. They are doing it with egocentric. They are doing it out of fear. They are not doing it out of surrender. They are not doing. If you have done it for 10, 15, even few years or few months, if you have done, and if you are not understood, if you are not melting away, if your ego or the individuality is not dissolving, something is going wrong somewhere. Then the reason for the energy to do the japa, remembrance of the Lord, is coming out of fear, coming out of wanting to fulfill some intrinsic desire, or it has become mechanical, or it is still egoistical. I am doing it, I chant 16 malas every day. I don't go to sleep without chanting 16 malas. It is an ego trip.
Yes.
This is not surrender. But it's good. At least they are doing it because it has made their mind single pointed. But the shift will happen only when devotion sets in, bhav comes in. So anyway, over the chapters, because Arjuna did not understand, so first lesson was this, then third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter came karma sannyas. He gave up the karma. Then he came into meditation in the sixth chapter after having come to know that I am the self. Now, is this self only in this body or in all other bodies? Then the seventh chapter began. Then that was the next six chapters were devotion, where this self alone is the self of in everything and everyone. That is the Vishwarup Darshan. And then the last 3-4 chapters were about how to develop the stamina to stay in this conscious space, in this divinity, whether inside or outside. How to remain there without getting disturbed. And recognize that whatever is getting disturbed is either the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 chapter were there for that. You read. I'm not going to go into all those things. So this is how he keeps refining himself, and as he is refining, refinement can only take place when integration takes place. Not mind is thinking something, mouth is speaking something, and body is acting something. This is not integration. Integration is where the mind, speech and action all are aligned with each other. You understand? And it's not on autopilot. You are conscious. It's not. Autopilot means mechanical. You are conscious, you are alert, you are vigilant. And yet, it is not your will because of which the integration is taking place. It is your surrender because of which the integration is taking place. See? So, Arjuna has come to that point where he is recognizing that everything in this world, in this universe, is happening by his will, by his guru's, just not even guru's will, by merely his presence. Just as the mere presence of light removes darkness, the mere presence of the Guru Maharaj or the Lord removes all ignorance. This is recognition. You recognize that you are the infinite one. At that very moment, all ignorance that I am only this body go away. That I am the father, mother, daughter, sister goes away. All that is coming because of this body. If after becoming Brahman and relinquishing all actions, good or bad, I wish to serve you faithfully, you give the devotee a share of your divinity, just as when the river Ganges goes to serve the ocean. When the river goes, if you have seen any time a river merging into the ocean, what happens? Have you seen any merging of a river into an ocean? When the river is about to reach the ocean ocean rushes to embrace the river. That is called Ganga Sagar. Go to Calcutta. 21 kilometers from there, you can see that. The Ganga Sagar. It's a huge basin. The Bay of Bengal goes and embraces the Gangaji. And thereafter, so Gangaji is coming from Himalayas. 5,000-6,000 kilometers she has. Devi Sureshwari Bhagavati Gange Tribhuvan Tarini Taral Tarange. Shankara Mauli Viharini Gange, Hema, something, can't remember now. So she's frolicking through. She also doesn't know where she is going, but something inside is making her go in a particular direction. No mountain, no stone, no gorge. Whether she's narrow or she's kilometers wide, it does not disturb her. She is continuously moving in one direction. She has never seen the ocean, but she's moving in that direction. And when she reaches from far away, she says, oh, this is where I'm going. At that time, he comes. The ocean comes. Come, my darling. And when they embrace, there is no duality. The Ganga doesn't remain Ganga. She merges into the infinite. This is our mind. This is our individuality. When we think of the divine is also wanting, Arey, here is one person. He will rush to you and he will embrace you. You don't know when is the conclusion. You don't know when is the merging. You don't know when you are going to enter the sanctum sanctorium. You don't know when you are going to become one. But all we can do is keep working towards it. Keep purifying, keep integration, getting integrated by surrendering to him. And his grace, he comes. Gangaji did not know. Did she know when she started from Himalayas that, oh my God, I'm only little drop here, only a small rivulet here. What if in the summer I dry up, then what will happen? How will I, where am I supposed to, what is my purpose? I don't know what my purpose is, isn't it? Only after reaching Calcutta, then it realizes, Arey, Baap Re. Oh. Then her speed becomes faster towards the end.
In India,
हाँ?
माता वैष्णो पे इंडिया में जब चढ़ाई करते हैं ना तो सोचते भी नहीं है और किस तरह से माउंट पे चढ़ते 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 दर्शन हो जाते हैं.
करेक्ट.
ठीक है, तो मतलब सोच के तो नहीं जा सकते.
सोच के कोई नहीं पहुंच सकता. सोच के गए तो if you, she is saying that when you go to Vaishno Devi, you cannot think and go. You have to surrender and go. That's what we do in Kailash. You surrender. You go through the Yamadwar. In Yamadwar, you have to give up your body. Only by his grace you can do the parikrama. Only by the Devi's grace we can go up. That is true. That is everywhere. That's why all our dhams, all our pilgrimage places are made so far away. You have to work hard to get there. Because in that working hard, throughout the journey, you are not complaining. Well, how many more kilometers? How many this? How many that?
No.
Then what are you thinking? Jai Mata Di, जोर से बोलो Jai Mata Di, सारे बोलो Jai Mata Di, मिलके बोलो Jai Mata Di.
इतना
नहीं ठीक है, अभी हम स्टोरी में नहीं जाएंगे. But you immerse in her divinity.
just every
See?
Jai Mata.
And in this way, Arjuna has come to that point, and he is saying that you give a devotee a share of your divinity. See? So ocean has given a share of his divinity to that one wave who surrendered to him. Before that wave was saying, I am a wave, don't mess with me. Then I am a poor wave, all others are after me, they want to push me, they want to kill me, they are in competition with me. Help. Then one guru says, look into yourself. She looks. Then she realizes, Arey, I am not other than the ocean. And immediately she doesn't forget that she is the infinite and yet continues to be the wave. Not to continues to be the wave, allows the waveness to express. The form is appearing only. So this is the you are my worthy, itself becomes, where is we? And your divinity, just as when the river Ganges goes to serve the ocean, it itself becomes the ocean. When the river merges into the ocean, Gangaji merges into the ocean, when she looks back, there is no Gangaji, there is only water. So when we merge into the divine, into Ram, into Krishna, and if we come out of that contemplation or meditation and we say, where is the world is still there, that means we didn't merge, it was an imagination. When the true merging happens, when you come out, you will see Ram everywhere. Like the gopis. They see Krishna, Krishna, Krishnamaya Jagat. Ramamaya Jagat. Ours, Ahankarmaya Jagat. Everywhere. Hey, this is one ego, this is one ego. He spoke to me egoistically. They are all speaking you like that because you are like that. If you change, you will see everyone also like that. Isn't it? So, he says here, it itself, this was from the devotion point of view. Now from the student point of view, disciple point of view, it itself, because you are my worthy preceptor, fit for worship without any formality. So what is the formality? Samit panihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. What is formality? When the teacher comes, you have to stand up. What is the scene? Arjuna is sitting on the chariot, Krishna is standing on the steps. No formality. Availability is required. Formality is not required. You understand what we are saying? Availability. You must be available for the teacher to mold your mind and intellect. For that, you have to be available. If I'm sorry, Swami, Krishna, I was sitting for such a long time. That means throughout the 700 verses, his attention was on the body, not on Krishna. That's why the sorry came, no? Sabotage, completely. So, here he says that you are my worthy preceptor, teacher, guru, fit for worship. You are worthy of worship without any formality. Then who are these people who do Om na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam when we go to someone's house? Or there's nothing wrong. You do it, no problem. But if you don't do it, guilt must not come. You must not feel guilty. Oh, this time Swamiji came, I did not invite him for bhiksha. Don't feel guilty. Nahi hua. Then what do? Go wherever bhiksha is and eat daba ke. Or kya? But don't feel guilty. Guilty is only an egoistic person feels guilty. Has regret. It's a very strong ego which has regret and guilt. If you are in the divinity, no formal. You don't have to behave in a particular way. You don't have to. All that, those etiquettes are told for the student as he is when you are in a parampara. But here, this teacher-disciple relationship, it is above all paramparas. Paramparas, different lineages. Like in the Western way, when someone comes, what do you say? I might in Australia. In England, good morning. They take that cap. Good morning. Sometimes they don't even say that. Only the cap goes and goes back. Or sometimes they just touch the cap. In India, namaste. Nowadays, what is they doing? No. You go in the lift, everyone is... They don't even look at you. They don't even look at you.
No.
So there is no verbal, there is no acceptance of the other. Even you are surrounded in a crowd. You are so egocentric. You are so egocentric that you are not even recognizing the presence of consciousness surrounding you. You're so self-centered. That is not how a human being lives. So, we are talking about without any formality. That's why all these examples I gave. Who has worship without any formality, who has laid me under a deep obligation by granting me the vision of Brahman. So this gratefulness, kritagyata, we can never forget what our teacher has taught us. If you ask him, thank you Swamiji, he will say, for what? Other people say, who are you? I am disciple of Swamiji. You ask him, oh, you have disciples? No, I don't have any disciples. Oh, then you have devotees? No, I don't have any devotees. Oh, you helped that brahmachari to become a sannyasi? No, I didn't. No ownership. But the disciple keeps ranting away. It is only because of him that I am who I am today. I am his disciple. I am indebted to him. I am so grateful. Because if any other teacher had been there, he would not have been teaching me the way he taught me. There was perfect synchronization with this teacher and me. The way he put across, it was, we were just like sponge taking it in. With other teachers it doesn't happen, but it happened with him. And by the end, he molded us in such a way that everything is a teacher in our life. That we are not hooked only onto him. But yet, the recognition that he taught us, whether you take it as a person in front of you or you take it as a principle, how can you not be grateful to that principle also? Who is expressing inside, outside, who is allowing these type of thoughts to happen, who is allowing within itself. It is the scripture also, it is the teacher also, it is the student also, and the game is going on. It itself is the only recognition. And with that comes gratitude. And gratitude will keep you in check that the ego doesn't come up. You will recognize the more you are closer to the truth, the more you know that you don't know it. At the level of the thoughts. Because mind is thinking about the truth. Now mind is contemplating on the truth. From many thoughts it came to one thought. From one thought it came to that last thought. And at that last thought it says, I don't know what to do next. It's at its wit's end. Only if it surrenders. Oh, and what is that surrender? Surrender is recognition that let the mind keep thinking. In someone's presence this mind is thinking, that is me. Instead of thinking that I am the mind and as the mind I have to come to know the truth. It will never happen. Impossible. It is only by grace. The lock opens from inside, not from outside. Of deep obligation by granting me the vision of Brahman. What is Brahman here? The total existence, consciousness, bliss, that is. The infinite existence, the infinite knowledge of that existence, which results in bliss. Not as an experience, as your own essential nature. Not bliss as an experience. Ha 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 ha, haste raho pura din, pagal hai. No, experience bliss as your own essential nature. You have removed the screen of distinction which existed between you and me, and you bestowed upon me the sweet joy of serving you. So, one is, first we recognize that the world is nothing but the reality. Where did you do that? In the waking plane. You did contemplation. But are you only living in waking plane? No, we are in dream. So we recognize that dream also is nothing but pervaded by the conscious principle. Now deep sleep is left. And what happens in deep sleep? In deep sleep, we forget who we are. The veil of ignorance, the Meli chadar od ke, wo hai na ghazal. So that veil, the dark veil, which is creating duality between me and myself, between me and you, that veil, when all thoughts have concluded, in the third state, deep sleep state, that veil, that dark cloth, that one dark sheet, which is acting as a barrier between me and you, or me and myself, that also by your grace gets removed. Only by grace. That cannot be removed by your actions. You cannot remove ignorance by your actions. Either, as Gyaneshwari Maharaj says, you recognize there is no ignorance, or you surrender to such an extent that and what does it mean to remove the veil in deep sleep? It means that when deep sleep begins, deep sleep is a state of the mind. Waking is a state of the mind, dream is the state of mind, deep sleep is a state of mind. Removing the veil means when the deep sleep happens, that moment you remain awake. The veil is over. Many hits and misses, but in the end, it is only by grace that you don't succumb to sleep. Only by grace. At that time, thinking doesn't work, because if it is thinking, then you are in waking or dream. If there is no thinking, you are in sleep. And we are talking about awake in sleep. And what is sleep state? Where there is no thought, there is no will, there is no desire. At that time, how will that happen, that you are awake? The last thought, you have to be very clear. Last thought must be clear. Then you get to that. That last thought is full of gratitude, full of surrender, full of understanding, full of conviction, full of not distracted. That thought should not be, oh, now this last thought is going to go, I have to remain awake. This last thought is going, I have to remain awake. This thought is going, I have to remain awake. Nothing will happen. You are still in thoughts. Oh, I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep. You will go to sleep. I don't want to drown. I don't want to. You will drown. Like when you are learning to cycle, I don't want to fall. I don't want to, and you fall. And say, yeah, I don't want to go to sleep. Because you are thinking of sleep. You are not thinking of being awake. Either you say, I am awake, and let that thought, that awareness that you are awake, and let the mind subside, you will remain awake. But you are thinking of sleep. Anyway, so this is how the veil of darkness, which is separating this consciousness, Arjuna, keeping Arjuna separate from Krishna, or keeping Arjuna separate from his real self. Apply that on yourself. That veil, it is only by his grace, O teacher, it is by your grace, by your words, that it goes away. It doesn't go away by doing anything. It goes away by remaining alert and vigilant. And also you have removed the screen of distinctness which existed between you and me, and you bestowed upon me the sweet joy of serving you. This sweet joy is just like those who are business people, they get a sweet joy of thinking, today 1 rupee became 10 rupee, $1 became $10. Then next time, oh, I invested there. Look, Market has gone up. Without doing anything, I made $2,000. See, I bought that property 20 years ago, Swamiji, and without doing anything, today it is more than $1 million. Wow. Attention, where is it? On profit. On profit. On money. And that is giving them joy. For some people, Swamiji, so much pain. Swamiji, no pain nowadays. Like I came and said. And I went to the computer, now there is much less pain. There is a joy of not clicking all the time. I'm able to walk straight without any limp. Joy. When all these temporary joys are replaced by a continuous joy of self-contemplation, a continuous joy of remembering the divine, a continuous joy of remembering the Guru principle, the Sadguru within. When there is a continuous joy of being the conscious silence, that is what Arjuna is talking about. Gyaneshwari Maharaj is talking about. Verse 76. यया अर्जुनाचिया बोला देवो नाचे सुखे भुलला म्हणे विश्वफळा झाला फळ हा मज उणेनी उमचला सुधा करू देखूनी आपला कुमरू मर्यादा क्षीरसागरू विसरेचिना ऐसे संवादाचिया बहुला लग्न दोघांचिया आंतुला लागले देखोनी झाला निर्भरू संजयो तेणे म्हणतसे संजयो बाप कृपा निधीरावो तो आपुला मनोभावो अर्जुनेसी केला तेणे उचंबळलेपणे संजय धृतराष्ट्रांते म्हणे जी कैसे वादरायणे रक्षिलो दोघे. Hearing these words of Arjuna, the Lord danced madly with joy and said to himself.
That's what I figured.
So, छोड़ दो उसको, फोन को, 1 घंटे की तो बात है.
And I'm not I was turning it off at time.
So, here, not only when we look at someone's eyes, when we are teaching, when we see the stillness in a person, when we are teaching, when we recognize how available a person is, when we ask a question with clarity, when the answer comes, you can't imagine the joy that we get. If you have taught your daughter how to cook a particular dish, and when she makes it as good as yours or better than yours, how much joy it will be? Exactly the same way. Krishna, when his disciple and his devotee is speaking in this language, he knows it is not coming out of arrogance. He knows it is not coming out of an egocentric, he's not making, some people are there, like a chamcha, sycophant. Oh, Swamiji, you are the greatest in this world. I love you. I will do anything for you. Acha, buy my ticket to London. No. I don't love you that much. Then they teach us, Guru is complete. How can he ask from disciple? This is psychophancy. Psychophancy means chamchagiri. In that moment, you are this, all politicians are like that. You are this, you are that, you are that. Krishna knows Arjuna did not speak so great of Krishna in that manner. Krishna knows who he is. He also knows who Arjuna is, inside out. He knows all his lives. And therefore, he knows with what purity Arjuna has spoken those words. With what surrender those words have come out of Arjuna's mouth. That he goes mad in joy. That here is one student, one disciple, one devotee who has become available for me to express through. I'm using those words. Gyaneshwari Maharaj is not saying that, but it comes to that. So he says, hearing these words of Arjuna, the Lord danced readily with joy and said to himself, I have secured in Arjuna the best of all the fruits in the world. Correct, same thing. The Lord is continuously looking for an instrument through which he can function 100%. He is everywhere. But here, ego is coming in between, so he is not able to function. In this table, in this chair, in this lamp, he cannot function. Why? Because there is no life there. In animal, plants, he cannot function because consciousness has not developed yet. In human beings, if they are tamasic or rajasic, they are not qualified. In sattvic, only Arjuna was sattvic, but he was under the influence of tamas in the beginning. Now he has become available. So Lord is happy. Now at least out of this whole, how many? 11 Akshavani Sena. In that time the world was maybe more populated than today, or something similar. Out of all the millions or billions of people at that time, one person became available to Krishna. One, Arjuna. Nobody else. Others knew the greatness of Krishna, but because of their ego trips, Guru Dronacharya, मैंने कौरवों का नमक खाया है. I have taken the money from Kauravas to teach, and I am committed, even if they are on the wrong side, even if they kill wrongly, I am committed to them. So they have to die. He has to die. Bhishmacharya, who has taken a Ananta Vrat of Brahmacharya, I will not get married, I will only serve the throne. He commits himself to an inert throne. Who is going to sit on the throne? That is the person. A throne doesn't rule, the person on the throne rules. Till Pandu was there, it was all good. But the fate was such, the time turned around in such a way that the Pandu died and the blind tamasic king came and sat on the throne. But he is committed to the throne, not to the person. Wrong vow. So because of that, he could not open his mouth when the Draupadi issue was there.
Yeah.
So he has to also die.
Yeah.
So all great people, Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya, they know the greatness of Krishna. Yet they did not surrender to him. It is God incarnate in front of your eyes. Arjuna did not know that he is God. He knew he was someone extraordinary. Only in the middle of the battlefield, he finds himself at his wit's end, so he surrenders. But Guru Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya, they knew. Yet they did not surrender. Is it that we are also making a similar mistake somewhere? That in our life, divinity is coming and presenting itself in its fullness, and we are on our own trip of egocentric desires, not being available to that divinity. See? So he says, Arjuna is the best of all the fruits in the world, perfectly ripe, not overripe, not a little bit lesser, completely ripe, ready to be devoured. By whom? By the divinity. What is that? That perfection is what? When you take the mango, nowadays mango season. So, if it is a little bit soft, when you cut it, the knife doesn't go because it becomes soft. If it is too hard, then also you have to put a bit of pressure, and inside it is not as sweet, it's a bit bitter. If it is over sweet, it has become mushy pulp inside. But when it is perfect, You just cut it and put it into one, without doing anything, the whole pulp comes into your mouth. Perfect color, perfect texture, perfect taste, ready to be devoured by us, isn't it? Arjuna is that perfect fruit, ready to be devoured by the Lord. Meaning, ready for the Lord to express through him, manifest through him, and get the work done what is required to be done. He has already told that in the 11th chapter. I have already killed all these people. Only you are going to get the glory. That without Arjuna the war could not be won. But you have just seen, it's already over. Who's going to win that also you know. So is our case. So is our story. Everything is predetermined. Question is our attention on the world and its happenings, or is our attention on the divinity? You cannot change anything outside, but you can change. If you focus on the outside, you are the individual. If you focus on the consciousness, then the individuality dissolves. Yet everything goes on. But there is no ego, no individuality anymore. Does not the milky sea forget its limits and overflow after seeing its sun? When the ocean sees the river, it forgets its limits and it goes. That's why you get such a huge basin wherever the ocean and the river meet. It's not a narrow thing. It's a huge basin, a delta. It's called a delta. The full moon, complete with all its phases. Does not the milky sea forget its limits and overflow after seeing its sun, the full moon, complete in all its phases? So the reflection or the moon, when it is seen at all its phases, if it's only looking at one, it is misery. But he knows he is the full one, man. So now he's not crying because he has seen the different phases. He knows he is growing to the fullness. And when it is fullness, bright light, shine, tejas, your sun. Tejas. That's what fullness is. In the moonlight, you don't need artificial light. That light is enough. Sanjay was transported with joy seeing the union of Arjuna with Lord Krishna on the altar in the form of dialogue. Remember, this story is being told by Sanjay, the charioteer of the blind king, to the blind king on the 10th day. Because Bhishmacharya has fallen. And who is this Bhishmacharya? He is the grandfather of all the Pandavas and Kauravas. And he has a free will to die whenever he wants. And now, till 10 days, the Kauravas, the baddies, were winning. On the 10th day, their commander-in-chief, who has the free will to die when he wants, the news comes that he is lying on the bed of arrows created as the bed by Arjuna. This blind king asks, Sanjay, how did this come about? Sanjay, the charioteer, says, if I tell you how this has come about, it is not enough. You need to know what events took place for this to happen. What events transpired before, because of which the one who can never die is lying on the bed of death, bed of arrows and waiting to die. How did he decide to die? Why did he decide to die? What was that one cause, reason that he gave up his will to live forever? There must be some decision that he has made. That's why he's fallen. And then the Bhagavad Gita began, as we saw. And here Sanjay, because he's got the divine vision given by Maharishi Vedvyas, that vision was supposed to be given to the king, blind king, but blind king didn't want it, so he gave it to Sanjay. And Sanjay is seeing the union of Krishna and Arjuna, and he has also become wise. Merely seeing the entire Bhagavad Gita play out in front of his eyes, he has transformed from an individual to a divine person. He's not even in the dialogue. He's standing apart, but he's got the divine vision to see it. But he's so intent. He was already a good person, sattvic person. But he was available. He was available to the entire dialogue of the Lord Krishna and Arjuna. And when at this time Arjuna is saying that there is no difference, I am completely surrendered to you, I am totally one with you, he is feeling that oneness. That same feeling which Arjuna has, he is also having. We can say that. It's not written here, but we can say that. Overflowing with that joy, Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, "Oh, what luck the merciful Vyasa has protected us in this war. You are now blessed with the vision of knowledge, although you lack the physical sight to deal with worldly affairs." Anyone who has heard this story of this dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, they have been blessed by the Lord. So when he says, the merciful Ved Vyasa has protected us in this war, protected us by giving this vision. And this vision is being narrated by Sanjay to Dhritarashtra. So he is also protected. But now blessed with the vision of knowledge. So this is the knowledge. After reading, the vision is presenting itself. Although you lack the physical sight to deal with worldly situations, worldly affairs. So because you can't see what is going on, you can't see the intentions of your sons. You got the knowledge, but your decisions are going to be based on the conclusions that you have come before. You are still thinking that your sons are the right ones. Because of your infatuation with your sons. You are not living your life at the level of righteousness and unrighteousness. You think loving your children, infatuated with your children, Duryodhana, etc., is your duty, father's duty. But you are forgetting that the other Pandavas who do not have a father and their father was your brother, indirectly they are your sons also. But you don't have the magnanimity to think that to treat them equally. You favor your sons and you are unfavorable towards Pandavas. And that is what he's saying here. You lack the physical sight to deal with worldly affairs. We'll conclude here. We have to go from 1581 next class. So in this way, our vision is also getting transformed. So, not afterwards, while listening. It should happen. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.